lights, camera, and the recording button is pressed. Suddenly, the material you have delivered hundreds of times in front of hundreds of people start coming out in fragments. You stumble over the simplest words and you even forget your name. Here's what I know after 18 years of working with brands on their visual presence. That moment has nothing to do with your expertise. It has everything to do with your system or lack of thereof. The good news, systems can be built. And I brought in exactly the right person to help us build one. Together, my guest and I have a combined 50 years of experience helping executives and solopreneurs show up on camera the way they do in real life. In a moment, I will introduce you to him, but first let me share a little bit about me. I am Ana Gil. For 18 years, I have worked with entrepreneurs, executives, and brands to help them show up on camera with intention and authority. I produce premium headshots, marketing content, corporate videos, and remote productions. Unmuted, proudly sponsored by Ecamm, is where I bring industry experts together to talk about the tools, strategies, and mindset it takes to get on camera, get results, and make those results work for you and your business. Now, allow me to introduce you to my guest, Scott Skiball. Scott helps professionals and organizations stay ahead by transforming how they train, communicate, and show up, especially on video. He brings a rare combination of experience in enterprise training, innovation, and storytelling to every client he works with. Whether it's getting teams camera ready, building fast and effective training programs, he brings clarity and momentum to change. Scott, welcome to Unmuted.
Anna, thank you so much for having me. I was so excited because I've been waiting months for us to get together because it's just two virtual presenter nerds having a conversation. So I love this. Thank you for having me.
You are very welcome, Scott. And yes, we have been planning this for months, like you mentioned. And I'm excited that now it is here. I'm excited for what you're going to share with all of us, the systems that it takes for all of us to show up on camera confidently, consistently, right? We're here for that.
That's what we're here for. I couldn't agree more. You said we had 50 years of experience between us, so that means one of us is old. So yes.
Let's just stop there. When I was putting that together, I was like, should I say this? But I mean, right?
Oh, go ahead, Anna. Just bring it on.
So, Scott, before we get into this incredible content, is there anything else that you would like to share that I didn't mention in your bio?
Oh, no, you definitely wrapped it up. But I will say this. It is so much fun talking about this topic, Anna, because video plays such an important role these days. Mm-hmm. But we leave so much on the table. But I think the key is that it's a combination of hardware, software, and soft skills. And it's something that you can learn so we can bring it all together and help everybody who's watching and listening today.
That is right. And that's what we're here for. And that's one of the things, and I'm excited that you mentioned that. It's because a lot of people, when they ask and they think about video, the first thing they talk about is they think in the investor time and money in is gear, right? That's the first thing that they do. But before the gear even gets into play, there are a lot of other things that need to be taken care of before that. So it will be great to talk about that as well. But one question that I would like to get to know is how do you, Scott, get started in coaching executives in big corporations? You working with LinkedIn and you work with T-Mobile, right?
I've done work with T-Mobile, Sprint, LinkedIn, Quest Diagnostics, a lot of different companies. And I tell you what, Anna, it's so interesting to sort of see how this whole piece has evolved.
Mm-hmm.
Because I started, okay, remember I was joking about age, but
Yeah.
I started being in the training industry, being in corporate training. Think of corporate training as like the OG content creators in corporate, right? They're creating, PowerPoint training decks, they're creating job aids, they're creating videos, things like that. But I remember working with subject matter experts back in 2000, where I was trying to record their subject matter expertise to sync it up with a PowerPoint so we could create training, right? They know their stuff. But I had a device I could plug into a phone jack, and I could get that phone jack and the audio into my computer and record it and then sync it with PowerPoint decks that we would use for training. And it's just amazing to see how this whole industry has evolved, where it's gone from that to recording on a true conference call, right? Back when it was on a phone line,
Mm-hmm.
to using Ecamm and Skype call recorder, to eventually Ecamm came out with Ecamm Live, and now that's what I use, and it's amazing. Here we are, all across the world, having these virtual presentations that are literally true video productions. So it's been great to see the evolution after all these years.
Yes, right. I mean, it's incredible how the things that we can do with nowadays, right? With because before it, I mean, going from the phone and plugging it in and all those steps in, by the time you went to your client, right, you're like, okay, and you weren't done. You were still had to after the presentation was over. That's where the work started for you because you needed to put that presentation together.
You better believe it. And it was just interesting just to sort of see from a hardware side how
Mm-hmm.
everything has evolved. But some of the soft skills really haven't changed. Now
Mm-hmm.
they've changed a little bit because now we're much more on video and it's not just an audio medium. But yeah, it's been fun to watch that. And I think the key here, Anna, is that all of this can be learned. The hardware, the software, and the soft skills can be combined, and these are skills people can learn and apply to their day-to-day job. So if you're doing big corporate stuff like you and I have done, or if you're just a solopreneur and you're communicating, individual videos, maybe doing some YouTube stuff, all of this is applicable.
That's it. That is it. So, Scott, I have so many questions for you. We have about 30 minutes together, so let's just get to it and get you all who are watching. Thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions as we go along, please feel free to write it in the comments, whether you are on YouTube or LinkedIn. And if you're catching the replay, do so as well. Comment, ask your questions. We will get right to you. All right, so Scott, the first question for you. As I opened the stream, experts, they know their material. They get on stage, they command presence. They get accolades for being a great speaker. Yet when the red button turns on, when it's like live, right? Something happens, something shifts. Explain to me what's happening at that moment, right? And why does it happen to the best of them?
To me, that's so interesting because I've worked with so many different subject matter experts over the years. And when I work with them, right, and we're in the pre-planning stages before we even record, what we're trying to do is to move them from just having the courage, because you know what happens so often, Anna? People are nervous and they get the butterflies, right? They're scared to go on camera. They're scared to present and do all that. So with all of the people I've had to work with, it's like, how do we build the courage? And then how do we get them to being credible on camera and ultimately charismatic? What does that transformation look like? I remember you were, sharing a story with me with one of your presenters. I've worked with professional speakers who thrive, who just kill it on stage. And I don't mean a couple of hundred. I mean, you pack 1,000 people around them on stage and they crush it. We bring them into the studio, and I've brought these speakers into the studio before, and you've got the green screen, you got the lights, you got everything set up, you got a couple of people in there. That red light comes on the camera, and they freeze. They can't get their words out. I remember with one person, I had to pretend to be Denzel Washington behind the camera so she could speak to me.
Wow. Okay, that's a new one. Okay, I've heard, family members and things like that. But yeah.
No. She wanted Denzel, and I remember to this day, I was Denzel behind the camera, and she was looking through the lens at me and just gave it her all. It was fantastic once we got to that point, but it was painful until we did.
Okay. So it's finding what works. So it's different, right? Finding what works for that specific executive, for that specific person, but also the rest of the techniques that we have learned throughout our careers of what helps them get comfortable in front of the camera. So Scott, let's talk about something that has been spoken about a lot, and we hear it. It's trending, mainstream. Confidence versus presence, right? So there are some people use them interchangeably, but they are two different things, right? And after 18 years in this industry, here's what it has become clear to me. Confidence and presence, right? Two different things. Confidence gets you in the room. Presence makes the room want to stay. That's the way I understand it. I would like to know how you understand it, and then what does it actually take to develop both of these?
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
To come. Right?
That is a tough question, isn't it? Okay, when I think about confidence, I think about some of our internal beliefs, right? And there are certain things we can do to get our headset, our mind space to where we're confident, right? You can do power poses, you can, pump yourself up, you visualize. Professional athletes do this, right? They visualize their delivery, they visualize their performance. You think about the Olympics we just had, you know what they're doing, right? Confidence to me is internal. Presence is external. And in the book Charisma Myth, Olivia Fox-Cambane talks about, I'll pull this up on screen because to me, this just brings it all together, because charisma was presence. Charisma equals, see if I can say that easily, Scott. Charisma equals presence plus power plus warmth. And I thought that was a great way to pull it together, because that confidence is the internal piece, that we feel confident because we know our subject matter, we know what we're going to talk about, we know our presentation, we know our product or whatever that is. That gives us confidence to where we don't have to be up in our head. We can be in the moment. That's where the presence comes in. That's where the charisma comes in, because we can be totally focused on the audience, on the other person, whoever is on the other side that we're speaking to. And to me, that's the presence. That's good listening. That's truly listening to what they're saying, watching their nonverbal skills, what they aren't saying, but their micro expressions are telling us that they're thinking, right? So to me, the confidence is external, the presence is, confidence is internal, what we're thinking, and that presence and warmth and charisma is the external piece that everybody else is seeing. So it's the question is how do we start building that up in the people we work with, or if you're working by yourself, how do you bring all of that together? That to me is the key piece here.
I agree. I definitely agree. And because once we build, you have been mentioning courage. And once we have that courage to go and click go live or click record, right? Which is the confidence, right? We're like, okay, we can do this. We know what we're talking about. So this is good. I feel good, right? So confidence. And then we come in with a presence, and that's where I want to say that's where the real work starts, because you want to keep, if you are presenting solo, you want to keep your audience engaged. You want to keep them, you want to just period, keep them engaged, right? And when we are live or recording, which is two different things, right? Because when we're live, the people will stay just a little bit longer than if you are recording. So the presence in recording your content needs to be on point for you to deliver your message and make that goal of yours successful in the video by like watching it the whole way through. So how do you prepare your clients on both of these?
You know, what I had to share with people, and I would share this with everybody I would work with at LinkedIn, is that I would say, hey, web video isn't about perfection. It's about connection. That we don't have to be perfect, right? We know our content. If I'm dealing with marketing managers or product managers, they know the product. Now, how do we share that? How do we communicate that with the sales reps, you know, on a global scale? And so when we would get into the presentations, and I've recorded hundreds and hundreds of these internally, not just at LinkedIn, but other places as well. You know, I would talk about just a handful of things, you know, and let's break this up. I would talk about just the basics. Let's just be credible on camera, because that's going to increase your confidence in a second. But I used to say in Hollywood, there's a saying, lights, camera, action. And I would sort of have something similar. I would say lights, camera, audio. And so from a hardware standpoint, if we've got lights on us and not behind us, and I would see people sitting in front of a window, you know, with the window behind them, and it would just blow them out, right? Not good. So basic things. We've got lights, we've got a camera, and we've raised it to eye level. And as much eye contact as you can have with the audience, the better. Okay, that brings out the warmth. That brings out, oh, they're actually listening to me. They're paying attention to me. I'll share a little secret on that in a second. And then we get into just having some decent audio. And that typically means not using your laptop's built-in audio. So if you have an external mic or something, I strongly recommend that. So now you've got the basics down. What are some of those softer skills that we can get into that really brings out our passion, our enthusiasm, and our charisma on camera? And it came down to just really a handful of things. Number one, energy. Let me tell you, if I bring in a product manager and they're trying to hype up the sales force on a new product, new service, whatever, and they can't get excited about it themselves, I mean, serious face plant.
Yeah.
Right. So the first thing is just energy. Bring some passion. And so I talk about having the energy. Now, movement creates energy. So that's why we want to have certain camera placement and framing so they can see our hands and where they can see us move and get excited about things. The other piece gets into our voice. Ven Zhang talks a lot about this. So a great speaker. If I come over here, if you haven't seen Vin before, go to YouTube. You've probably seen him on LinkedIn. Unbelievable speaker. I love the communication because one of the things he talks about, and I've kind of modified this a little bit, but I'll refer to and adapt some of his stuff as the 5 Ps: pace, pitch, projection. I like to throw in the 4th one, pause. You bring in that into your voice. So how fast do you talk? Do you speed things up? Can you slow some things down? That's your pace. You get into your pitch. Are we talking high? And when we get excited, we naturally talk higher and faster. That's cool. But for credibility, we also need to sometimes drop our voice. And we get a little bit lower, a little bit more serious. The pace, pitch, projection is how loud we talk and how soft we talk. And that's why having that audio, the external microphone, mine's up here. That's why I point to it. Having that audio so they can hear our voice. So, and the 4th one is pause when you really want to highlight a key piece. And so I would share that with everybody, that you want to bring in those 4, and I'll throw in that 5th one, and that's just passion, right? In your voice. That's the tonality. It's just very different. If my wife goes, "Oh, Scott," right? Or my mother says, "Scott Allen," very different tone, and that passion comes through, right? So, I tried to help people leverage their voice, their energy, and when they just started having fun, Anna, that changed the delivery. I didn't care what topic they were talking about. Those little things made all the difference.
Yes, they do. They do. And thank you so much for sharing that. And the 4 Ps plus a bonus, right?
Absolutely. You got to throw in that bonus one.
For example, let's just go real quick to, you mentioned all of those pieces. So an executive or just someone who coach, entrepreneur, solopreneur, we are recording this video and all of a sudden our shoulders are tense and we get in our heads. What is that one thing that we can adjust to immediately give us a little bit of calmness and bring us back into the moment? And this is when we are actually recording, right? What do you suggest out of those 4? Which one would be the one to help us calm down and get back into the presence to the presentation?
I think the most important one is actually that bonus one, and that's the passion. We don't have to be perfect, okay? We don't have to have the perfect voice. We don't have to have the perfect camera. You and I have nice cameras. We got great equipment, right? You can use your phone, but if you are truly passionate and care, I don't care if you stumble over your words. That never mattered. Laugh about it. Just keep moving. Because when you are passionate, when you have undeniable belief in what you are talking about, that comes through. People connect with people. And that's what they want to see. But I'll tell you the flip side. If you have no passion and you're just showing up, there's no excitement. There's no enthusiasm. Click away. Log off the Zoom, log off the training, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
People don't want that. The most important thing, I think, is passion. And I know that is so hard in a professional sense. Now, I don't mean you have to be over the top about it. This isn't being a carrot top entertainer or a comedian, something like that, right? But even in a business setting, even in what you and I do day in, day out, are we passionate about it? Do we actually care? Because that is what comes through on camera. Being able to look somebody in the eye and say, this is what I believe, this is what I stand for, this is what I do. This product is going to be great. Here's why the audience needs it. I might stumble all over my words and screw things up, but you're going to walk away with how I made you feel at the end of that presentation, at the end of that meeting, that video. And that's what we want.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Scott, because there's a lot of perception or I want to say pressure out there for us to be perfect on camera. And I believe that that's one of the things that might scare people from getting on camera. First, to have that confidence to get on camera, which is the I need to be perfect. I need to have the perfect lighting, the perfect camera. I see all the other creators, other business owners who are showing up in video, and they have this amazing setup. And also they need to make sure that their delivery is on point, that if I'll remove the ums and ahs and all these things. But if we're wary about all of that, my gosh, will we ever get on camera?
No.
Right? Will we ever get on camera? We can't.
No, you won't, because there's too much friction.
Yes.
And you're caught up in your head. And so remember when I was talking about there are, three key pieces here. There's hardware, software, and soft skills. Okay, the hardware, basic, I don't care. You can have a webcam, but there are a few little things. There's one piece of hardware that I think will make a world of difference for people, and that is a teleprompter. And Elgato has their teleprompter, right? This little teleprompter here. Again, this isn't expensive, guys. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place here. $270, but here's what it allows you to do. Anna, I can look at you. I can look at the camera, and I always have my eyesight. So if we're on a Zoom call, right now we're on a Zoom call going live to different places, but I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you in the eye, and that makes a world of difference. So that one piece helps to remove some friction, if you will, okay? Because now we're just having a conversation.
Yes.
But then we also get into some of the soft skills. We got to get out of our head. Okay, we've got a piece of hardware. I do believe software. I think Ecamm is fantastic, and it not only did it get me an incredible job at LinkedIn for all these years, it's what I do now. I've used it for God knows how long now, right? I mean, we're talking years. I won't say what I pay because I'm grandfathered in, so I got a really good deal. But think about the friction that that you have in your hardware. There's different tools you can use out there. I don't care if it's Ecamm, which I love and prefer. You could use OBS. You could use something like you could use a Camtasia, but find one piece of software that you feel comfortable with. So now you've removed that friction as well. So a teleprompter makes the hardware a little bit easier. Don't even worry about a fancy camera. Software removes friction. And then the third piece, the soft skills, is just talking to the camera. Record yourself and kind of see how you're coming across. But when you start speaking from the heart, when you get out of your head worrying about every freaking line you're going to say, speak from the heart. Speak with passion. Speak to another human when you actually care. So when we talk about that charisma, was power, presence, and warmth. When you bring that warmth and you're truly authentic and you're just saying, I'm just here to help. I'm not going to be perfect, but I'm here to help another individual that's on the other side of that camera. Man, it changes our delivery. And sometimes we just have to pretend who that might be. Maybe it was Denzel Washington back in a previous life when I was behind the camera. But it's just about having a one-on-one conversation. But the key is about removing friction.
Yeah.
And those three will really make a difference.
Yeah, I agree. And just having that system, right? So having we have the systems that we are sharing right now with all of you for you to be able to try it and just get out of your head, go in. And I know Scott mentioned a teleprompter, and this is for, you're in corporate, you're recording your executive video, your marketing team is behind you and has all of this for you. But say you are a solopreneur. How do you do that? You're just starting and you, for example, want to record a course so that you can monetize your expertise that you have earned throughout all these years, 20, 30, 50 years, and you just want to monetize that and create a course. But the friction would be, okay, I need a camera, I need a teleprompter, I need to have the right lights. What other tools do I have? And that's already a lot in your mind. What I recommend to my clients who want to do that is go on your phone. Literally, just get on your phone and start recording. Don't worry about having a microphone. Don't worry about any of that. Just get your phone. The phone is pretty good, right? And it will get you practicing the way you deliver your message on camera, the way you present yourself on camera, and the way everything looks for you. And for you to review it is right on your phone. After you're done recording, you just go and review, and then you go on and post it. It's easy, right? No friction because you have your phone. And the more you do this, the more you're going to get used to being on camera, the more you're going to get used to hearing your voice, because one of the first thing I hear is like, I don't like the sound of my voice. Well, that's the voice you have, and you need to get that content out. So you got to go on and use it. Yeah. So you go in there and you just easy to record your voice, easy to listen to your voice, review it, post it. Don't overthink it. Post it. And let me tell you, I guarantee you that you will get engagement because you're sharing your expertise with people that need to hear that. Right? And that's what Scott is doing, right? Scott is training his executives to just get that charisma on camera because they already know their content. Scott.
Anna, I have to say, my favorite type of video to do is what I call a personal sales video. And so I know people are scared to record their videos, right? Get their phone out and record everything. And maybe you don't want to go YouTube or whatever, but practice doing it yourself. Mm-hmm. But I love sending personal sales videos where I might go, Anna, it's fantastic to meet you. And I'll go, hi, Anna, it's fantastic to meet you. I was just looking at your LinkedIn profile. You've done some amazing things. I'd love to get together and have you on a podcast or whatever I'm talking about. But record a video to one person. Wave. Just say hi. Smile. Have some enthusiasm. Use their name. And send that video to them. It's great on LinkedIn. I put my videos in my LinkedIn DMs. You will blow people away. Mm-hmm. I promise you. Mm-hmm. And that is what's so amazing. So we don't have to be fancy because all you're doing is having a simple conversation and sometimes when we do a video, it's just one way. And we send that out to them. If you can remove your friction and make that easy to send to them, record it on your phone. I use Ecamm and Vidyard, so I've got a little bit fancier thing. But there is nothing more powerful. And in the age of AI, nothing more authentic than a genuine message using somebody's name, talking about what interests them, showing their sales page, showing, whatever. They know that video was just to them. It was true. It was real. It was authentic. It was from the heart.
Yeah.
That's a good message.
For sure. And we have a little bit more to say about that. But first, we have James Wells. So James just writes, hi, James. Thanks for being here. Just start. So you have a baseline to improve from. That is it for you. That is it, James. If without a baseline, right? It's like you never know. You're not sure. So Stephen, hi. Thanks for being here. Those reps are the most important for anyone starting out. That's it. We if we don't have the reps, right? Just like James said, if you don't have the baseline, you're just in your head. And if you're not on video, other people are sharing your content, right? So those who are on camera are getting ahead of you while you just sit down and think about, oh, let me get this perfect. Yet somebody's out there doing it that is not perfect. And even perhaps you go, look at that. I can do that. I can, but still is not done, right? Because still they're like, oh, I can do better than that. I can do better than that. And in trying to do better than that, you're not doing anything. So we need to get you on camera. We need to get you on camera, you know? So Steve, yeah, just like Steve said, be messy, right? Do it messy and improve.
And it's so true, Anna, because again, let's go back to what I said earlier. Web video isn't about perfection. It's about connection and speaking to somebody one-on-one even, right? Not even broadcast one to many, one-on-one. You make that connection. And then all of a sudden now you're just talking to friends after that, right? Then it's easy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly that. So thank you for that, Scott. So, I mean, you worked for LinkedIn for 6 years. You know philosophy, and you know the influence of how important it is, and how the platform is transforming to video, or shifting, I guess, for video, to allow entrepreneurs, thought leaders to come through to the platform and share their knowledge. And so, can you talk to us a little bit about the psychology of influence on LinkedIn that you know so well? And because one of the things is that I see a lot of people, it's like, okay, show up on video, post one video, post to another second video, and then that's it, right? How are they going to build influence with just a couple of videos? So I'd like you to please share the psychology of influence with us, specifically for the LinkedIn platform. But I know that you say this in general, so we can do both, right?
It is. It is way beyond just LinkedIn, which I think is a great thing. But for a lot of you, maybe this book by Robert Cialdini maybe you're familiar with it. But in this book, Robert Cialdini talks about 6 principles of influence. Why are some people more influential than others? What makes that up? So scientifically, in his studies, he found there were 6 principles of influence. And I'll go through them briefly here. Number 1 was authority. For example, if you went to med school, you're a doctor, we think you have authority. I'm not saying you're a good doctor, you could be a quack, but typically that the credentials give you authority. If you've written a book, you now have authority. So that's the first principle. The second principle is social proof. Social proof says if you've written a book, you've got social proof that you kind of know what you're talking about. If, for example, your mother says you're great, may not carry a whole lot. But if you've got all these recommendations and all these other people are saying you're great, that's social proof. That's why recommendations, that's why 5 stars on Amazon, that's why that becomes so important. That's the social proof, because everybody else is saying how great you are, how good those ideas are. The third one is liking. And liking is just, we tend to want to do business with other people we like. So the more commonality you have, right? Entire business models are built on this, right? Be it Amway, multi-level marketing, Tupperware parties, things like that. It's all built upon liking. Your friends come over, they feel guilty and they buy because they like you, right? So that becomes the third principle. How do you get people to like you? Video plays into that, right? So they get to know, like, and trust you. So that's part of it. The fourth one is reciprocity. Meaning, if I do something for you, if I provide freebies, if I provide ideas and share stuff and post, there's this kind of feel this internal need to do something back. And in fact, in the book, Robert Cialdini talks about they had people sitting in a waiting room, and somebody went up and bought themselves a soda, came back and gave and just brought one for the other people in the waiting room. That was very nice. What they found was if they did that at the end, if they asked them to buy raffle tickets, the people he gave a soda to bought twice as many raffle tickets as if he just asked them at the end without providing a soda. So that's that internal, oof, I feel obligated, I got to do something back. The fifth one is commitment and consistency. Just showing up, being commitment, being consistent in what you say, and all that. The sixth one is scarcity. And I think video is scarce on LinkedIn. It's more prevalent now than it was, say, a year ago. But where I really see the scarcity, Anna, on those personal sales videos. When you really want to stand out. And let me tell you, when I record, again, we've minimized friction. I send that personal video. I smile, I wave, I use their name, I show their sites, I talk about their needs, their issues. They're not getting that. And I promise you, you stand out, you are scarce, and you will make an impression.
I agree. I agree 100%, Scott. And I have a story to share about that. So I received a personal message on LinkedIn, a personal video from someone that I was not interested at all in their services. But guess what? I replied back. I'm like, thank you so much for that awesome video. I don't know if it's because I'm biased, because I'm like, oh my gosh. But that's the scarcity you talk about. Typically, it's just a text. Oh, the cut and paste. And this is a video personalized to me. Hi, Anna. I saw your profile, just like what you shared with us, right? I saw your profile. I think you will be. And then he went on sharing his and asking for the call. But I replied just because of that video. He wasn't immediately deleted, you know? So imagine.
Let me ask you this, though. I'm curious. Was that a real video, or did they use AI to fake themselves?
Oh, no, it was a real video. It was a real video. Yes, it was. This was, I want to say 2 years ago when things weren't but he was still, it was real because of the way he was, the way the lighting was in the back. It wasn't perfect. It was, yeah. So I replied to him, replied back trying to close that deal, but I wasn't interested. But it got me to reply to him a couple of times, right? Because we went back and forth a couple of times. But what if the person was interested, right? What if it would have been a qualified lead that they sent that video to? That would have been even more impactful, right? And for all of you watching, right, it would have been. So for all of you watching, episode 4 is going to be about recording that personal sales video, intro video in Ecamm or QuickTime, your choice of that. But we're going to be going over how you can do that to tap into the number 6, right? And become scarce. The one, right? Scarce. Yes. So yes, Scott, thank you so much for sharing that.
To me, it is awesome when you bring in a little bit of influence and a little bit of, that camera charisma. When you bring these two elements together in an authentic, honest video to somebody, it is so powerful. So I can't wait for next month's episode.
We have a comment from Stephen. He writes, as a sales trainer in his earlier days, he lived by the principles in that book, the power of influence. And then I agree too. The law of reciprocity is unrelated to the initial give. right? Give away a free book, you often get back someone buying 8,000 program.
Yeah. Stephen, this book is amazing. It should be required reading in business school these days, without a doubt. Fantastic book. I lost you, Anna.
Okay, yes. Okay, here we go. So we're going to come back. Okay, thank you. Here we go. Okay.
I was like, oh no, oh no, the tech gods.
So Scott, thank you for sharing that, right? That's just the in school, right? There's something that they're doing now in school. They're trying to share what's happening in the creator world. They're sharing it in universities, right? Because some of the things that we have discovered with video, it wasn't there a couple of years ago. And there's so much information out there that now they're bringing it in as a whole curriculum of this thing. So having, a book like that, us now, accessibility to a book like this, and the other one that you shared, what is the name of the other one?
This is called The Charisma Myth by Olivia Fox Cabane. This is a fantastic book. You may also want to follow Vanessa Van Edwards. She did Captivate and Cues. But you talk about video, Anna. There is so much good content on YouTube and so many great presenters. You can learn so much when it comes to all of the softer skills around this.
Yes. And Scott, all right, thank you so much. When I had you on mute, I was writing my notes. I was writing the 6 influence, right? Because we need to, when we have a system, and when we talk about system, we're not saying, okay, this elaborate thing. It's just, this is a system, right? Authority, social proof, liking, reciprocity, right? Commitment, consistency, scarcity. It is a system that, if we follow it, right? Very nice and simple. So we don't need to create a whole thing, but just have a template to help us guide through whatever it is that we need to do. And Scott, you share so many. So thank you for that. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. And I like to always end up unmuted with a way for people to unmute themselves on whatever it is. And typically it is, I want to get on video, but right in here, I want to get on video, but I need a good camera. I want to get on video, but I need lighting. So one piece of advice that you would share with someone who's just getting started. So we will do that for a solopreneur, and then we move into for corporate. To get it started with video, what would you do? Right? So we have 2 different audiences with one message that goes for them.
Yeah.
So let's start with
Anna,
solopreneurs.
Your piece on solopreneurs just to use their phone is spot on, right? This is the easiest. This is the least friction. I can record something on my phone. I can send it in a message. I can send it as a DM. This is by far the least friction, easiest thing to do. If it sucked, you can delete it and do it again, right? So super easy. When it comes to corporate, and I have worked with executives and sales reps and all these managers, there's so many different things where they can start. Oh, here we go. You see so many people get on Zoom. Most of the Zooms, the training on Zoom, it's just not good, right? And that's why I encourage people to record the videos and use that as training. Nobody wants to go to an hour-long Zoom where there's only maybe 10 minutes of content. The rest of the time is, can you hear me now? And Sally, please mute, right? So, right. So when we go to the corporate side, to me, the most important piece comes back to the 5 Ps. And I'm going to use that 5th special one, passion. Just come with enthusiasm. Come with something you care about. Bring a message that you honestly believe in. If you don't believe it, be careful how you communicate it, because your inauthenticity will come through. You will have micro expressions to where it say you doubt this. So when you have the executives who can convey a message, again, not being perfect. Steve Jobs was not perfect. The best presenters, Tony Robbins, are not perfect, but they do speak with passion. And that passion and how you make people feel. Maya Angelou had that wonderful quote. People are going to forget what you said. They're going to forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. On a corporate side, we're missing that. And if we can bring that passion and enthusiasm regarding our products and services, man, that carries so much weight.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Scott. And it is true. It is true. Especially, and when you hear us talking about video and about recording, as Scott mentioned, it doesn't have to be you recording a video and then sending it out, recording a video and monetizing. It could be showing up in Zoom looking incredible and credible, just like we are looking right now. Right. So this, for example, this broadcast, this production we are in Zoom, and whatever shows up in Zoom, your audience sees. Right. So the experience, for example, if we do sound effects, when Scott had his butterflies, Scott, cue butterflies, please.
Butterflies.
Yeah. Right. Butterflies. All of that, you can see it on Zoom. Right. And this is through Ecamm, which is the software that we're using right now. And those software that we will be using on episode 4 of Unmuted to practice our recording. So this could be either a Zoom recording that you're going to send to one, right, sales pitch or just personal message to one person. Right? It could be on QuickTime, or we could use Ecamm. So those are the two apps that we're going to be using on episode 4 to practice everything that we have learned here with Scott. Right? So we have a comment, actually a question for you, Scott. Steve writes, my peeps live on LinkedIn and I'm not posting videos yet. Advice for someone unafraid to get started?
You know what, Stephen? I would say just start. If you're not afraid, and you shouldn't be, I would go ahead and just start posting videos. I've had fun doing it. I think the video reach on LinkedIn, as they tweaked the algorithm, it's gone up and down, and who knows what's going on. But again, what we're after isn't necessarily about broadcasting a message to thousands of people. What it is about, it's about connecting one-on-one. And video allows us to do that better than any other medium. I don't care if it's a written post, pictures, carousels on LinkedIn, none of it is going to have the same impact as a heartfelt, authentic message to your followers on LinkedIn. That is going to drive more comments, more engagement. And there are a lot of silent lurkers out there, but when they see your videos, they get to know, like, and trust you. And that's what we're after. That's what builds the influence. So I would say just do it. Do not hesitate.
I agree. Just do it. Just do it. And Steve also mentions, I think Steven is becoming one of your top fans here. He says he just joined your LinkedIn video influence.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Yes. And then he's like, okay, so he had a question. He answered it for himself. Okay, we answered it too for you, Steven. And you are so welcome. So welcome. Thank you for being here. So everyone, thank you so much for being here with us and learning about how you can take your camera confidence and camera presence to create to stay credible, right? To create your videos, to command that presence, to stay consistent with your videos, right? Because if you have one video that you create today and you have one you create tomorrow, or perhaps you create it for a whole month and then you don't post again, all that traction that you gain in that month is you're going to have to start all over again, right? All of that confidence and that presence that you built, because it's a skill, if you don't use it, you sort of lose it. So you have to keep on those reps. You have to keep pressing. You have to keep up and one up yourself, right? So it's like, okay, I did this time. Let me do this next time. Let me try this next time. And this is how you stay consistent with the video. Next episode 4 of Unmuted, we're going to be practicing how you can record that video and then do it over and over and over again. So we're going to go step by step how you can do it. And then it will be your homework to continue recording. We have a community in Ecamm Live. It's on Facebook. You can come in and share the videos that you have practiced, that you have recorded, and share with us. You can ask for feedback, or you just post it just to get used to posting, get used to seeing yourself and putting yourself out there. The community is very safe. We will support you. We will encourage you, and so that you continue going in your journey with video. So we will hope to see you in the community. Is Ecamm Live in the Facebook, and here on LinkedIn is Ecamm Network. I'm also on LinkedIn as Ana Gil, so Ana Gil. And Scott, you are also on.
I am on LinkedIn. Of course, I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn, Scott Skiball. I think I'm the only one out there. How about that?
Wait a second. This is the end of the show. You pronounced your name Skiball?
You know what? You can call me anything, Anna. That's just fine.
Skiball. Okay, you see, we went live. We've been talking for almost a year, Scott, and we. Skiball. Okay, we got it. We got this. Skiball. Okay, so you can find him on LinkedIn, and he just told you where to. If you do not have Ecamm yet and you would like to practice with us, you just go to ecamm.com/Ana. It is my first name, and download a free 14-day trial so that you can follow along with us. Next month is going to be April 8th. Right? So any questions, everyone, that you have or comment, please feel free to leave it here on the replay. And we will hope to see you next month on the 8th to practice creating video. Scott, thank you so much for being here with us, sharing your knowledge with us. And you probably have some executive to go coach now.
Anna, thank you so much for having me. We waited months on this, and it was so much fun talking to you and everybody you had. So thank you.
You are so welcome. Thanks, everyone. We will see you in the next episode. Remember to stay unmuted, okay? Stay unmuted. Bye.